For 3 years, my daughter-in-law made it clear that I was nothing more than a burden. Every visit was filled with subtle jabs, rolled eyes, and sighs heavy with contempt. She treated me like I was invisible, or worse, like I was a problem to be tolerated. But what she did not know was that I had been keeping a secret that, once revealed, would change everything she thought she knew about me, and about her own life. My name is Robert, and I am 74 years old. I have weathered many storms in my life. I lost my beloved wife, Margaret, 6 years ago. I raised 2 children through joy and hardship, and I learned that sometimes, the people who hurt you the most are the ones who understand you the least. This emotional story begins 3 years ago, when my son Michael married a woman named Lisa. I wanted to love her. I tried to welcome her into our family with open arms. But from the very first family dinner, I sensed something cold in the way she looked at me, something dismissive. At first, it was small things. When I spoke, she would glance at her phone. When I offered to help with something, she would say, "We have got it covered," in a tone that made it clear my help was not wanted. When I shared a story from my past, she would interrupt with, "That is nice, Robert," and immediately change the subject. Michael seemed oblivious. He was so in love, so eager to make his new marriage work, that he did not notice how his wife treated his father. Or maybe he did notice, and he just did not want to see it. My daughter Sarah noticed though. "Dad, the way Lisa talks to you, it is not right," Sarah said one afternoon when we were alone. "You deserve better than that. She is just adjusting," I told her, trying to be gracious. Joining a new family is not easy, but deep down, I knew it was more than that. Lisa had decided, for reasons I could not understand, that I was beneath her respect. The insults became more frequent, more pointed. When I showed up to help Michael move some furniture, Lisa said, "Maybe this is too much for someone your age. We would not want you to hurt yourself." Her tone dripped with condescension, like I was a fragile old man who could not be trusted with basic tasks. When I offered to babysit my granddaughter Alina, Lisa said, "I think Alina needs someone more energetic, someone who can keep up with her," as if being a grandfather meant I was incompetent. When I brought homemade cookies to a family gathering, Lisa took one look and said, "Oh, Robert made these. Well, I guess we will have store-bought as backup." She laughed, but there was cruelty in it. Every comment was designed to make me feel small, useless, irrelevant. And slowly, painfully, I began to believe her. I started declining invitations to family events. I stopped offering help. I retreated into my small house, convinced that maybe Lisa was right. Maybe I was just a burden. Maybe my time had passed, and I no longer had anything valuable to contribute. My friend Joe came by one evening and found me sitting in the dark. "Robert, what is going on?" he asked, concerned. "I have not seen you in weeks." I told him everything. About Lisa, about the constant insults, about how invisible I felt. Joe listened quietly, then he said something that cut straight to my heart. "Robert, you are letting her define you. You are one of the most capable, generous men I know. Do not give her that power." "But Joe, what if she is right? What if I really am just irrelevant? Then she does not know you at all," Joe said firmly. "And maybe it is time she learned who you really are." The turning point came on a Tuesday afternoon. Michael called me, and his voice was shaking. "Dad, Lisa is in the hospital. She collapsed at work. They are running tests, but they think it might be something serious with her heart. I am terrified." I was at the hospital within the hour. When I arrived, Michael looked destroyed. His eyes were red from crying. Lisa was in surgery. The doctors had found a heart defect that required immediate intervention. It was life-threatening. "Dad, I do not know what to do," Michael said, his voice breaking. "What if I lose her? What if Alina loses her mother?" I held my son while he cried, and in that moment, all the insults, all the contempt, all the pain Lisa had caused me, it did not matter, because my son was hurting, and my granddaughter needed her mother. The surgery took 6 hours. When Lisa finally came out, the doctors said she was stable, but her recovery would be long and difficult. She would need extensive care, physical therapy, medication management. Someone would need to be with her constantly for the first few months. Michael looked overwhelmed. "I cannot take that much time off work. We will lose the house. How are we going to manage this?" That is when I made my decision. "I will take care of her," I said quietly. Michael stared at me. "Dad, you do not have to." "Yes, I do. She is your wife, Alina's mother, and she needs help. I will move in temporarily. I will make sure she takes her medication, gets to her appointments, does her physical therapy. You focus on work and taking care of Alina. I will handle Lisa. Michael hugged me, tears streaming down his face. Thank you, Dad. Thank you. For the next 3 months, I became Lisa's primary caregiver. At first, she resisted. Even in her weakened state, she did not want my help. But she had no choice. She could barely walk those first few weeks. She needed help getting dressed, eating, bathing. Every basic task required assistance, and I gave it, without complaint, without resentment. I woke up at 6 every morning to prepare her medication. I cooked meals that fit her new dietary restrictions. I drove her to physical therapy appointments 3 times a week and sat in the waiting room, ready to help her back to the car. I encouraged her when she wanted to give up. I celebrated every small improvement. One afternoon, about 6 weeks into her recovery, something shifted. Lisa was struggling with a particularly difficult physical therapy exercise. She was frustrated, on the verge of tears. I cannot do this, she said, defeated. I am never going to get better. Yes, you will, I said gently. You are stronger than you think. Just take it one movement at a time. Why are you doing this? She asked suddenly, looking at me with confusion. After how I treated you, why are you here? I was quiet for a moment. Then I said, because that is what family does. We show up, even when it is hard, even when we have been hurt. She started crying, not from frustration this time, but from something deeper. Robert, I am so sorry. I was awful to you. I was cruel, and I do not even have a good reason why. Then tell me the real reason, I said softly. She took a shaky breath. My own father was never there for me. He was cold, distant, critical. Everything I did was never good enough. And when I saw how Michael talked about you, how much he respected you, how present you were, I felt angry, jealous. It was not fair that Michael had a father who cared when I never did. So I pushed you away. I convinced myself you were not that great, that you were just an old man who did not understand anything, because it hurt less than admitting that I wished my own father had been like you. This family drama story had become something much deeper, a story about heartbreak and healing, about the wounds we carry and the ways we hurt others because we are hurting. Lisa, I am sorry your father was not there for you, I said. You deserve better than that. But pushing me away did not heal that wound. It just created a new one. I know, she whispered, and I am so sorry. You have shown me more grace in 3 months than I showed you in 3 years. You did not have to do this. You could have let Michael figure it out, but you showed up anyway. That is what love does, I said. It shows up. Lisa's recovery took 6 months. By the end, she was back to full health. But more than her body had healed, something between us had shifted. She started calling me Dad, not Robert, Dad. She asked for my advice. She listened when I spoke. She invited me to family gatherings, not out of obligation, but because she genuinely wanted me there. One evening, after a family dinner, she pulled me aside. Robert, Dad, I need you to know something. You taught me what real strength looks like. It is not about being loud or impressive. It is about showing up quietly, consistently, with love, even when it is hard, especially when it is hard. You could have held on to bitterness, but you chose grace, and that changed me. Those words meant more to me than she will ever know. I am 74 years old, and I have learned this. Hurt people, but healed people heal people. Lisa was not cruel because she was a bad person. She was cruel because she was carrying a wound she did not know how to heal. And she projected that pain onto me because I represented something she never had. This touching family story taught me that grace is not about excusing bad behavior. It is about choosing to respond with love, even when you have every right to walk away. Sometimes, the people who are hardest to love are the ones who need love the most. I could have refused to help Lisa. I could have said, "You made your bed, now lie in it," and no one would have blamed me. But that would not have healed anything. It would have only deepened the wound. Love, real, sacrificial love, requires us to show up even when we have been hurt, to extend grace even when it has not been earned, to see past someone's behavior to the pain underneath. That does not mean we accept abuse. It does not mean we have no boundaries, but it means we do not let bitterness win. Lisa and I will never get back those 3 years, but we have today and tomorrow. And a relationship built not on pretense, but on genuine respect and love. If someone in your life is treating you poorly, ask yourself, what wound are they carrying? It does not excuse their behavior, but it might help you respond with compassion instead of resentment. And if you are the one pushing people away, ask yourself, who hurt you? And are you letting that old wound poison your present relationships? Healing is possible. Forgiveness is possible. Second chances are possible. But only if we have the courage to show up. That is the moral life lesson that saved my relationship with my daughter-in-law. And that is the truth that can save us all.